Hello again, and happy Halloween! Footage for today is going to be finishing the process of bucking the trees that were laid down over here, and then we will end with rough cutting the driveway intersection to combine the delivery ramp with the driveway. I will have to eventually come back and widen that driveway a little bit. We shall see when that is capable of being done. Since I don't have to do a whole lot of dirt work, let me reword that. Since the dirt work that I will be doing will be digging down into the hillside, I will try to get that done if I get a couple days of sunshine. So for instance, it looks like next Wednesday and Thursday might be dry-ish. So I will try and see if I can get the tractor up there and get that cut in. But it'll completely depend on how muddy things are. Most of the projects going forward for the next couple months are going to be indoor stuff and things that don't require being able to drive up into the mud. We'll try to get some milling done, actually. I've got a whole lot of logs that I need to mill. I've got a few ash trees that I need to bring down. But those I'm not gonna be working on taking those down until I have basically driveway access to get to them. So I've got to get more junk from the quarry and be able to get the big chunky stuff down, so that as I build that driveway across the front of the property, I'll be able to safely drive over there. And then once I get to those trees, then I'll work on taking them down and get them bucked up and either set aside or immediately milled, depending on how life goes at that point. But I'm just at the mercy of weather at this point, so we'll see how things play out. We were talking about the possibility of doing some work on the smoker and the pizza oven, or fire oven, wood-fired oven. Those can be done in the rain. I just have to get some kind of shelter to keep the rain off the cement and mortar while I'm actually actively working on it. But once they're done, then water on the cement is actually a good thing to help it cure. The longer it takes to dry, the better it cures. So in the footage, though, I'm just continuing along. You can see a 16-foot log sticks out pretty far on both ends from those forks. I mean, the forks are, I think, 4 feet wide, and so I've got 6+ feet sticking out on either end. That load was a particularly sketchy load heading down, and I turned the camera off because I wanted to try and make sure that I got footage of the digging process and not just the bucking process, because for the most part it's the same process as yesterday. But I was trying to get things stacked and moved around. I learned that going downhill forward facing is a very, very sketchy thing, though when you've got some really big logs like that. All the weight on the front of the tractor, even with the backhoe back there, that was enough weight that it ended up making the tractor lean forward pretty heavy. So most of the trips after that, in fact all of the trips after that first one, I would turn around at the top of the hill and then drive backwards down the hill. So that was that made for some interesting times, but yeah, at this point it's just I'm trying whenever I can to pick up the log and then get it turned around so that I can cut the root ball off of it while it's hanging over on the side, and then I don't have to move it very far. And then just using the backhoe whenever possible to do the picking up. It was interesting. We had a forestry class that was on mushrooms, and one of the things that they were doing to grow shiitake mushrooms was to actually use red alder, and we had talked about the harvesting processes and whatnot, and I had thought, oh man, I've got a lot of alder I need to take down, and one of their recommendations was that if the alder was taken down with machinery, that it's no good for inoculating with mushrooms. And I couldn't quite figure that out, because I thought, well, I mean, you've got to be able to be careful that you can get some of it done. And after having moved all these trees around, even when I'm trying not to damage them, the bark is just rather fragile. So I can see why they say that you just do too much damage to the logs as you're bucking them up. We never got very far in that process. We kind of forgot that we had a log inoculated, and it's been sitting in the shade. We just never got around to building a soaking tub for it, and I don't know, now that it's getting all rainy and whatnot, maybe I'll throw it in our little pond here, and we'll see if we can still grow some shiitake mushrooms off of it, because that would be pretty sweet. Mushrooms is something we want to definitely do going forward, but it's something that requires a bit more of an infrastructure setup than what we currently have. So I'm going to have to, if we decide we want to go forward with that, we'll have to set something up as a dedicated mushroom barn kind of a thing. So who knows? But now that I've got the logs all cleared and out of the way, there's still a few scrappy pieces that you can see here. And then the trees on the right still need to be bucked up, but I wanted to get this at least rough cut in before it started to rain again, because this was the last day it was supposed to not be rainy, and you can see even now there's still some mud sitting in the tread of the tires, although they've done a pretty good job of coming clean as I've driven around on this date. But I'm just trying to get this cut in. I will have to come back, and like I was saying earlier, I'll have to come back and widen this a little bit. There's a few trees along that left side of the driveway that I'm going to have to pop out, but it'll need to be about 5, maybe 6 feet wider to make it so that it's wide enough for the trailer, because the house sections come in 13.5 feet wide sections, so you got to have at least a 14-foot wide section. I mean, which legally for driveways anyway, they're supposed to be 14 feet wide now. But this is as far as I was able to get, and I was just barely scraping this in before I got the rains done. So there's one more load of logs that I'll drag down, and as I was gathering this up, the rains were starting to come. So at least I got that done, and checked off the list. It's at least to a point where it can be inspected now, and I just have to make sure I get that widened and then smoothed out. That's the part that I couldn't do with the mud, or with the dirt as muddy as it was. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes, but as always, God bless you and yours. Thank you for your time today, and I hope you're able to stay safe and healthy out there. We'll catch you on the next one, which will actually be a prepping for a chili cook-off. So we'll make some chili based off the Alton Brown Good Eats style.